Pseudoscience, a presentation by Sarah Schmidt. What is pseudoscience? A pseudoscientific claim is one that is presented as though it is a scientific truth, when in actuality there have been no solid studies supporting the claim. It can be based off of anecdotal evidence, in which one or a few instances alone are used to support a link between two things. Pseudoscience, vaccines and autism, the problem. What is autism? Autism is a developmental disorder. According to What is Life? A Guide to Biology by J. Phelan, it is the apparent result of alterations in up to 20 genes. The disorder often affects one's social interactions, making it difficult for him or her to connect with others. Autistic tendencies include the need for repetition and focus. Autism occurs on a variety of levels and can affect people a variety of different ways. Now, what does this have to do with vaccines? The short answer is nothing, and I will try to convince you of this fact. Pseudoscience has led people to believe that vaccines cause autism. You have likely heard this claim. According to Phelan, it all stems back to a study conducted in 1998, published by The Lancet. The study observed 12 children with autistic tendencies who were experiencing bowel inflammation. Out of these 12, 8 children's parents and physicians noted that these autistic traits began to appear shortly after the children received the vaccination for measles, mumps, and rubella, the MMR vaccine. Consequently, the researchers involved recommended the study of a possible connection between autism and the MMR vaccine. The likely cause. The children likely began to exhibit signs of autism shortly after receiving the MMR vaccine, because symptoms of autism tend to appear around the ages of 18 to 19 months. This, by mere coincidence, is the age at which the MMR vaccine is given. So where did things go wrong? An author for the aforementioned study recommended in a press conference that people refrain from receiving the MMR triple vaccine and instead receive single vaccines until it could be proven that there is no correlation between autism and the MMR vaccine. Based on this one comment, people began to believe that vaccines cause autism. 20 years later, the pseudoscience is very much alive today. In a survey conducted by Statista in 2016, it was found that 77% of healthcare professionals reported that a fear of connection to autism spectrum disorder was the reason families gave for refusing vaccines. This frighteningly high number shows just how effective pseudoscience can be. Let's revisit the fact that autism is caused by alterations in one's genes, not by vaccines. So what can we do to put an end to this pseudoscience? My suggestion is to educate. Only a proper education can end pseudoscientific thinking. In this case, education could save the life of a child whose parent does not want him or her to receive vaccines. How do we implement this education? I have 3 suggestions. My first suggestion is to revisit the study that started it all, the report published in The Lancet. People are likely to base their opinions on what they have been taught. As this study occurred 20 years ago, it is likely to be deeply rooted in the minds of many people. It is the responsibility of scientists to attack the pseudoscience at the root and tell people the truth of the study. There were several problems within the study that led to the popular misconception. First, the report only studied a small group of people. Second, the sample is not randomized, as the subjects were selected based on their symptoms. Third, this study did not include a control group. It did not include any children who did not display autistic tendencies. It is clear that this study was not well designed, and importantly, all things considered, the study did not once suggest that there was a connection between autism and the MMR vaccine. This was mere speculation by one author, an author who, as was later reported, received money from lawyers who were pursuing lawsuits against the MMR vaccine manufacturers. By attacking the claim at its roots, one has a better chance of putting an end to the pseudoscience. My second suggestion is to conduct new research. Another way to combat the pseudoscientific claim is to conduct new research disproving it. Several studies have been conducted to disprove the idea that autism is caused by vaccines. Phelan gives 2 examples of this. The first study was one in which all children born in Denmark between 1991 and 1998 were observed. This is a much larger sample than that which was studied in The Lancet. The researchers in Denmark concluded that there was no difference in the occurrence of autism between those who were and were not vaccinated. In another study in 2005 taking place in Japan, scientists noticed that autism continued to occur even after the MMR vaccine was ended in 1993. These studies, with a much wider sample, were conducted significantly more thoroughly than the case in The Lancet. Referring to these significant studies can assist us in fighting pseudoscience. My third suggestion is to stop the stigma surrounding autism. We should take a look at what people are risking lives to avoid. It is true that autism can make situations such as being in a social setting difficult for a person. However, great things can come from a person who has autism. Phelan points to a theory that the genes responsible for autism may in fact be related to strength in the fields of engineering, physics, computer science, and math. Of course, we have addressed autism is not caused by vaccines. However, ending the stigma surrounding autism could save the lives of several children whose legal guardians remain unconvinced. Significant numbers of people believe the pseudoscientific claim that vaccines cause autism. This is preventing people from having their children vaccinated, proving itself to be a huge problem. In order to attack the pseudoscience, we can, number 1, revisit the study that started it all, number 2, conduct new research, and number 3, stop the stigma surrounding autism. For the health and well-being of generations to come, it is necessary that we put an end to the pseudoscience.